Hey folks, it's Tuesday, September 14th. I can't say the word September. That's cool. Anyway, it's September 14th. And the first thing we're going to do before we get into reading each other's posts on the excerpts that we read from Meanwhile Elsewhere, I want us to actually learn a bit more about the editors of the collection. And the collection itself. So I want you to take a moment to read this book review of the collection, and also this interview right here. So just going to read these two things, and I think that will be super duper helpful. And then also just take a moment to learn a bit more about the two editors of the collection. My brain, it's just anyway. So go ahead and do that. And, I would say take, a good 15 minutes maybe to do that. And then when you're done, I want you to ease into the next thing we're going to do, which is to head on back to the Unit 2 chat and just kind of read and reply to some of your peers' posts about Meanwhile Elsewhere. And you can feel free to kind of loop in the new information that you know or that you learned if it's relevant to what you want to say that you just learned about the collection and or its editors. So just go ahead and do that. Try to meaningfully respond to at least two of your peers. Okay? And then we're going to actually go into a different collection. This is our last collection of short stories, right, where we're talking about non-binary world building here. So we're going to look at this collection called Transcendent. So first I want you to just take a look at this book review of Transcendent, and then also check out this stuff about the editor right here. And then from there, we are going to spend some time engaging with the following short stories. But we're going to do it in a tiny bit different of a way. But these are the stories that we're looking at right here, okay? And they're in one continuous PDF, right? So this time around, instead of like reading quietly on our own, we're still going to be reading quietly on our own, but kind of different in the sense that what I actually want us to do is practice that 1+2 active reading exercise in class. So we're all going to actually read these on the same Google Doc. So as you're reading them, try to make a comment on each story. You don't have to necessarily for the introduction unless you think it's relevant, but make comments as you're reading. And then what I would do is, like, once you're done, kind of like exit out of the document, and then come back into the document, and that's going to reload your peers' comments and then start replying to those so that we can kind of have a conversation as we're reading together. So there's that. There's other software that does this a lot easier, but I didn't want to make you learn different software. So this is slightly clunky, but it's better than like going through the frustration of learning a different piece of software that has more of a live comment feature. So anyway, that's just a sidebar. So yeah, that's what we're going to be spending time in class doing. And then before you head out for the day, I want you to head back over to the Unit 2 channel and just write a 2 to 3 sentence post about your impressions of the collection. And then, as always, it can really be about anything you want, but these are just some ideas, whether it's like a favorite character or a quote that stood out for you. Again, like really thinking about like the subject of the course in terms of non-binary world building. So yeah, there's that. And then from there, I should say one more thing. I'm sure you've noticed this by now, but I'm putting all of the author's pronouns in the comments, in the footnotes. So do make sure if you're referring to a specific author that you got their pronouns right. All right, so there's that. For homework, it's vibe time. Right? So we've reached the end of the unit, and I want you to think of a creative reflection to respond to this second unit that we've had. So you have 3 options. You can return to one of the stories you read in this unit and do a series of illustrations or a detailed illustration if that's your jam, that you feel like goes along with that story. You can either, and you don't have to be an artist. This is just kind of like, this is just vibing, right? You can do a collage if you want to, right? Or you could return to one of the stories and maybe rewrite an alternate ending for it if that's like something that you want to do. Or you could also return to one of the stories and copy the text or copy a page from that text and use it to create an erasure or a blackout poem. And I link to different like forms of that. So anything that kind of like creatively respond to this unit, right? So there's that. And just know that whatever option you choose, just make sure that when you're sharing your response to Slack, that you do let us know the title and the author of the story that you're remixing in some kind of way, right? So that is for homework, and I am super jazzed to see what y'all come up with.